This is my Lee Ferguson rough out knife. It's a fantastic knife, and there's no shade on Lee Ferguson here because, as you can see, the tip of this knife has chipped, and that is going to happen with any well-used knife as you start to use them. If you've got a Helvy, flex cut, any knife that you have, you can eventually get to the point where you chip the tip of it off. It's going to happen eventually. So what do you do when it happens? That's what this little video is going to be about today. And what I do is I use diamond stones. Some folks are going to use sandpaper. They're going to use whetstones. I like diamond stones. They seem to be a bit easier for me. This one is a Dia Sharp, and you can see one side's got coarse, one side's got extra coarse. And I got a second stone here that came in this container as well. And this other stone is Dia Sharp Fine and Extra Fine. And extra fine is essentially a strop. I mean, it's pretty fine. But we're not going to go over that stone much today. I've got a video on sharpening, so this isn't going to be about sharpening so much as fixing the tip of the knife. And what we do here, I've got this little holder for the knife that I use, which will, or for the stone, and that secures it down, and it's got rubber boots here, and it costs like $10 on Amazon. But then when I push on the stone, it doesn't move the table. It doesn't move the stone. It stays still. The table shimmies a little bit itself, but the stone doesn't move, which is fantastic and what you're wanting. Okay, so we can see the tip of the knife is right here, and it's missing. What we're going to do is we're simply going to round off the tip. So there's a good angle. You can see this here. We're just going to start to carve off with the stone this section here, the tip, right along there. Now, the pencil lead's not going to stick. I'm just showing you the path, okay? So we're going to take off that section of the knife and just kind of grind that off on the very coarse side of the stone. And it's just going to be a simple process. You can do it like so, and just go back and forth. Like that. Now with a diamond stone, you don't have to worry about having it wet. Some folks say you should have them wet. Some folks say you shouldn't. I've seen a lot of people that do it dry and say there's no reason to have water on there if you clean it properly. If you don't clean it and get all of the metal particles off of your stone after use, what you'll wind up seeing is that it can start to rust. The metal particles will stick to the nickel on the diamond stone and start to rust because it's nickel plated, and that nickel is what's holding the diamonds in place on the stone. And it's not the nickel that's going to rust. I'm sorry, it's the steel plate in the middle that is the nickel is secured to. But so I am just rubbing this back and forth, literally on the spine of the blade. In this direction, maybe you'll see a little bit better. Okay, I'm just trying to keep the same angle, and it doesn't matter. I can roll it a bit if I want to while I'm doing this, but basically I'm just going to get a lot of work in until I reform that tip. And you can see where we're at with that tip, right? I made a little bit of progress right here, and it's very hard to tell. You can see where I started to file it off or grind it off. So I can also go sideways here if that's easier. The noise, you'll have to forgive yourself for it, but it might be easier for you to do this more quickly in this manner. We're not quite there yet. We've got more progress to do, but we've made a little progress. And it's hard to tell from the camera lens. You can see we start to make some progress on there. It doesn't look completely rounded over. Now there's like a flat spot. That's the flat spot I'm developing as I go. I'm just going to keep going on this here. Still more to go. All right, can you see that? We have reformed that tip. I wish I was timing myself in real life. I'll be able to look at this video here and see how much time I spent recording. Oh, it's 8 minutes and 33 seconds since I started. So in 8 minutes and 33 seconds, I went from having a chipped top to knot, okay, just by following on the spine. I haven't touched the cutting edge of the spine. Now I can feel like, well, back here, the spine is nice and rounded, okay, so it's really easy in the thumb. Up here, it's not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to correct that gently by rounding over that spine on the back of that blade, not the cutting edge, okay? Just to round that over. And I'm taking it back and forth at an angle, at like a 45-degree angle or so, just smoothly. Feels much smoother than it did. Now let's get a piece of test wood here. Get a piece of wood I was using. There. The planes I'm getting, they don't have chips in it. They don't look bad. And that tip is a bit more severe now. It doesn't come quite to a point like it used to. I grounded that down. If I'd done this on a bench grind like that, it would heat up the metal, and if it got too hot, I would lose my temper. By doing this on a diamond stone, I'm not getting it too hot. I'm just doing a little bit at a time, and the knife is still going to be in fantastic working order and still be able to hold an edge perfectly. And I take care of this just an exceptional quality knife that I already had, that I just was using a little too rough, which is why I broke the tip on it. And again, like I said, that's not on Lee Ferguson or his knives. That's on me breaking the tip of my knife. And that's something that's going to happen to you in your journey. You're going to break the tips on some knives, and when you do, knowing how to take care of it, knowing how to fix it, allows you to take a good knife and keep using it. So, thank you very much.